Hey everybody, Wayne here, aka Squirrel Madness Comics, back with another video. It has been a very long time since I've come to you, actually. Probably a year ago. Um, so a lot's happened in a year. Some of you know me well enough offline to know what's happened, but around this time last year, my mother became ill, and and she deteriorated over a few months and passed away back in the summer. And so I initially stopped dealing with all things kind of comics for quite a number of months, and dealing with the grief of her passing, and dealing with her estate and all the things that kind of come with the loss of a parent. And although I've maintained collecting since the last time I've come to you with a video, I haven't done a lot of the things that I was doing prior to that, such as pressing and cleaning and sending books into CGC. As a matter of fact, I had a stack of books ready to go to CGC about a year ago, and I've never sent them. But I'm ready to send them now, and I'm ready to get back on the horse with some things. So I thought what I would do is share the books that I'm going to be sending off to CGC. Just a sort of a warm-up video, something to kind of get the juices flowing here again. So anyway, here we go. It's a biggish list, and you know, I know I missed the cutoff for the increased prices at CGC for submission, but to be truthful with you, you know, the cost of shipping books to and from is kind of pricey because I'm in Canada. And although there's usually the one cost to have books returned to you by FedEx from CGC, it never applies to me in Canada. So it's all about volume. So the more books I send, the more expensive it is for me to get it back. So anyway, I've got a stack here. Whether I send this all at once or I send these in a couple of bundles, I haven't decided yet. But there's some really key books. And like I said, these have been ready for like a year. And I missed the boat on getting some of these out the door. So I should have had them back by now, ready for the hype train for some stuff, as you're about to see. And unfortunately, by the time I see this, the hype train may have gone through, stopped at the station, passed through the station, is on to the next station. So, and a terrible analogy, I don't know why I use that. Anyway, they're all in reasonable condition. I think they're probably, and I'm not going to try to grade them because in my head I have a sense of what they might be, but I'm so out of practice that I don't want to embarrass myself. So I'm just going to say I think hopefully most of these are at least a 7, fingers crossed, and we'll see how good they are. Avengers 47, first appearance of Dane Whitman, who will become Black Knight, and as we all know, Kit Harington is going to be Black Knight in the Eternals film. We've already seen the teaser trailer drop. Although, to be honest, just my opinion, I was not that moved by the trailer. I kind of thought, well, okay, they, you know, stood around a lot, looked intently at things, sat around, ate some food. You know, the whole world went to hell in a handcart. Half the universe snapped out, and the Eternals didn't seem to care. So, anyway, don't get me started. Speaking of Dane Whitman, I've had a really nice copy of Avengers 48, first appearance of the third Black Knight, for a while, and it's actually really in quite nice condition. I would love to get a 7.5 or higher out of this. You'll see some other. It's kind of Avengers heavy on the top here. My third or fourth copy of Avengers 55, first appearance of Ultron. It's not a bad condition copy. I have another one upstairs that I'd like to send, but I'm not going to. It's got has burn marks, so that sort of sucks. This is one that I love, and I'm hoping I get a really nice grade on it. It's got a beautiful cover. I love this cover. It's Avengers 71, kind of the first appearance of the Invaders, and I know Reggie from Reggie Collects would appreciate this book very much. Avengers 83, first appearance of Valkyrie, even though I think it was the Enchantress in disguise, spoiler alert. Avengers 87, The Origin of T'Challa. So that's the Avengers books that I'm going to be sending. I thought about briefly sending this one in, but I don't think I'm going to. I have a nice copy of, I have a lot of early Avengers, but I'm just picking the ones that were really nice condition. And this one is Avengers 50. There's nothing about this book that stands out in terms of plots, first appearances, anything like that. It's just a really nice condition copy, given that it's a white cover. But I don't think I probably at this point justifies going into CGC, so I'm going to hold off for the meantime. This one I may take out of the bundle. I haven't decided. It's kind of a borderline in condition-wise, but Fantastic Four 65, first appearance of Ronan the Accuser. This, although condition-wise, I think this is going to be like a 1.8 or a 2, to be honest, or less maybe even, because it does have missing flex in the top. It's not in the best condition, but it is one of the classic Silver Age books. One of my all-time favorites, Flash 123, Flash of Two Earths, first appearance of Jay Garrick, Golden Age Flash in the Silver Age, and also first mention of there being more than one Earth. I had a 3.5, which I sold. This is in worse condition, but I would ultimately like to get a nicer condition copy and add that to my collection for the PC. But this is one that'll I'll get graded, and I'll probably end up selling it once I get it back. Speaking of key flashes, this is Flash number 1. I always get the number mixed up. 175, second Superman Flash race. I've had this in my collection for a couple of years and been meaning to get it sent into CGC. One of the hottest books on the market right now. Mainly because Marvel Spotlight 5 is kind of out of reach for most people, but a mid-grade copy of Ghost Rider 1. I've had this around for a while as well, so I'm looking forward to getting that graded. Giant-sized creatures, number 1. It's actually not in bad condition at all, given that it's kind of a square-bound book. First appearance of Tigra. I got some really great Green Lantern, Green Arrow here. I've already got a couple copies of 76 that are already in a 7.0. I think I sold one, and I've kept the other one for the PC. But this is, and I'm sorry, my vision's terrible, 85. The Junkie cover. Speedy is a junkie. Super well-known and important anti-drug storyline, and its companion follow-up issue. Another huge Green Lantern book, which I think is going to, I'm glad I got it when I did. It's in really nice condition for being a white cover. It's Green Lantern, Green Arrow 87, first John Stewart. This book, I think, is, especially in light of the upcoming Green Lantern HBO Max series, and just, I think, going forward, John Stewart is going to be the sort of media, like movies, TV, etc. I have a really strong feeling he's going to be the Green Lantern of this coming generation that a lot of media is going to focus on. So I think having this one graded would be beneficial. A couple of Hulks. 141, first appearance of Doc Samson. And a really nice cover. I love this cover. It's 162, and it's also in really nice condition. First appearance of Wendigo. I really love this book, so I'm glad to get that sent off. One book I really wanted from my PC. It's not in bad condition, but I think one day I'd like to get a slightly nicer copy. I think this is going to come back at maybe a 7, but I want it slabbed anyway. Iron Man Submariner one-shot predates Submariner 1, Iron Man 1. Another super huge book. I already have a graded copy in a 6.0. This is probably in the same ballpark, 6065. Special Marvel Edition 15, first appearance of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. So it'll be nice to have a second slabbed copy of this. Speaking of Submariner, this is a book I picked up back about a year ago in an auction, and I still have to actually get this one pressed and cleaned before I send it out. But Submariner 1, sorry, I cut the cat out of the bag. Submariner 1, it's, I want to see what it looks like after I've pressed and cleaned it. There's a little bit of it coming away. If you look at the back cover, this from the staple, the cover from the staple, but it's not completely detached or anything. You can just see there's a bit of tearing once you open it, but it's not really visible once the book's closed. So I'm curious to see kind of what grade it's going to get. I think it needs a really good cleaning and a press, but I think I can get maybe a 7.5. We'll see. This one I've shown before on my Instagram page. Again, another big Silver Age key for a lot of people. Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 70. First Silver Age appearance of Catwoman. Now, the condition of this one is not great. It's a mid-grade book, but and I'm not going to open it here to show you, but this is actually a misprint copy. And I've done a lot of research online to try to find if other people have encountered this issue. Nowhere have I ever seen anyone talk about this, but when this was printed, it was wrapped incorrectly. So if you open up the front cover, page 15 is page 1. And you get halfway through where page 15 should be, page 1 is. So it's completely in the wrong order. I've never seen that with this book. I can't find anyone else who's encountered it with this book. If you know anyone who's encountered that, I'd be curious to hear. But I'm also curious to see what that would do to the value of the book being a misprint and whether or not CGC would identify that on the label. I'm definitely going to point it out to them, and I'm definitely going to take pictures before I send it. You know, a book I was going to send in, and I'm sort of borderline on it, is Superman's Girlfriend, Lois Lane 105. I'm going to take another look at the condition. I've already pressed and cleaned it. I may not send it in, actually, in retrospect, but the only reason it's of interest, other than, again, one of the funky, cool Lois Lane covers, is it's actually the first appearance of Rose and Thorn. I'm borderline. I'm not decided yet. And now, the biggest one in my set. Needs no introduction. Not only has it always been an important book, and a book that collectors have always sought out, but this book is just skyrocketing right now. X-Men 94, first appearance in continuity in the title for the new X-Men. So third full appearance of Wolverine, second appearance of Cyclops and Storm and Nightcrawler. It's probably like, I'm hoping it gets an 8. If it gets less, it wouldn't shock me. If it gets more, I'd be shocked. I mean, I know it was in great condition when I bought it, and I bought it part of a set of X-Men, you know, well over a year ago with the intention of sending it in a year ago. So these are the ones I'm sending in. Another book that I was borderline thinking about sending in, but I took another look at it and I've decided not to because of the quality of the book. I want a really nice copy to send, or one that's already graded nicely. My favorite cover of all time, Cap 110. This Steranko cover is fire. I love it. And one other book, I may not send in this batch, but I will definitely be sending it at some point. Beyond the Black Hole 4, it's one of the Whitman books you used to get in a 3-pack of Whitman comics back around 1980. It's the 4th comic book from the Black Hole Disney movie. And it is extremely rare Whitman book. And like a 9.8 of one of these things, which you don't find very often, is definitely well into the 4 figures. This book is probably a 6 or a 6.5, but even then it's a few $100s, and it's extremely hard to come by. And I remember this book because this actually was something that was rolled up and put in my stocking when I was a kid. At the time it came out, my parents had bought a multi-pack, opened it up, rolled the books separately so they all went in my stocking so I could pull each book out separately so it would look like I had a bigger gift. Little did they know they hit on a super huge rare comic. That's it. That's everything. I'm thinking of sending to CGC at this point. I've got a lot of other books that are eventually going to be going. Like, I mean, I've been trying to go through the PC, and I've been finding like major keys left, right, and center that I bought back when they first came out in the 80s or 90s. Books that I picked up in sets and didn't realize that they were huge at the time. Even just stuff I've been buying at auction. Like I bought an auction set with an Eternals 1 in it, and it left a bit to be desired, but I'm thinking with the press and it clean, I might get like an 8 out of it if I'm really lucky. And there was a nice Eternals 2 in the same set. So I'm going to get both cleaned and pressed and sent off to CGC as well in short order. I know they're at least 2 months behind even opening boxes there. So, I mean, I have no illusions. It's going to take, it's probably going to be Christmas before I see these at least. But you know what? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So that's my single step. Anyway, it's a slightly longer video than I wanted to do. To show you a bunch of comics I'm sending, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm back. And I'd like to start doing some more videos upcoming, not just of stuff related to CGC, but I'm hoping to do a few more videos talking about some of my collecting goals in the upcoming year, some of the things I'd like to achieve, and share some things that I've come across that harken back to my childhood. Things from my childhood, things from my youth that I found while cleaning out my mother's house, that stuff I kept. And some of the stuff is kind of cool. So, and some of it's kind of crazy. So anyway, that's it for me, Squirrel Madness. I appreciate you watching the video. I missed doing this and being able to interact with all of you. So please like my video, or give me a thumbs down if you don't like it. That's fine, I totally understand. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified when I have new content, because I plan to have new content. And leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And I missed you all very much, and I'm glad to be back. That's Squirrel Madness Comics. Take care.